So today we shall discuss the another portion of this unit, that is unit of the superconductivity and nanotechnology. So this another portion is of nanotechnology. Nanotechnology. Okay, so this particular portion of this particular unit is very new to the BSc students. Actually this is the area of the current research, okay, and the area of the current research or the topics of the current research should be included in our syllabus, and this is one of the example of this topic of the current research. Okay, now whenever this word of nanotechnology comes in our mind, most of the academician, most of the researchers, okay, and most of the scientists also, they think that this particular area of work is a fancy area of work, okay, or this particular area of work is an imaginary kind of area of work, okay. So this particular field, some scientists, some academician and some teachers, they feel that this is an imaginary field, okay, means the field which cannot be realized in practice. This is just for the entertainment purpose, okay. Some of the students, maybe some of the teachers, maybe some of the scientists, maybe they think that this particular field is of only the is for only the entertainment purpose, but this is not so, okay. This is not the imaginary field, this is not only the entertaining field, okay. This is a field which has been realized in practice. That's why only it is called as a technology. It is not a nanoscience, it is not the nano engineering more, okay. It is all about nanotechnology, and technology we call something that has been used, that has been practiced by the people, okay. So this particular field is very realistic field, okay. This particular field is very realistic field. We have been using the devices which are based on the nanotechnology. To give you some examples, so you know that if you consider the processor of any computer, okay, the processor of any computer, you see the dimension of this processor, for example Pentium 4 processor, Intel's Pentium 4 processor, okay, Core i3 processor, Core i5, Core i7. We know that these are so many names of the different processor. There are so many processors, okay. Now if you see the dimension of the Pentium 4 processor, it is around 200 mm square, 200 mm squares, okay. Means the approximate length of this particular processor will be 15 mm, length will be 15 mm and the height will be 15 mm, okay. So this much size of processor of Pentium 4 consists of nearly 5 into 10 raised to power 9, 5 into 10 raised to power 9 transistors, 5 into 10 raised to power 9 transistors, and these transistors are of the type of MOSFETs. They are of the type of MOSFETs. So whenever you have a processor of Pentium 4, it will have a dimensions of around, or it will have the area of around 200 millimeter square, okay, and this much small area will consist of 5 into 10 raised to power 9 transistors, okay. If you take the latest processor Core i7 and so on, then it may consist of the 55 into 10 raised to power 9 transistors, 55 into 10 raised to power 9 transistors. So 55 billion transistor, 5 billion transistors, some 1 billion transistor, okay, some billions of transistors, they are occupied in very small area. Now you think that how this is possible? Can we bring enough sizable devices, or can we bring the transistor which we observe today in our daily life, can we bring these transistors into this small particular area? Okay, so this is not possible. So if you calculate the size of all these transistors, you will find that all these transistors are built with the help of nanotechnology, okay, nanolithography. That is one of the technique by which we can fabricate the transistors on the chip, right? So these transistors are having a dimensions which is of the order of nano range, okay. So these particular devices, all the processors of computers, all the processors of mobile, they are being manufactured with the help of nanotechnology only, okay. The other example of nanotechnology which has been practiced very well is there are so many examples, okay. You see most of the students, most of the girls and boys, they use the fairness creams. Okay, you know the names, fairness creams. Most of you must have been using these fairness creams. Various fairness creams are there. There are so many sunscreen. There are so many sunscreens, okay, and you know the categories of the sunscreen are classified as SPF 15, SPF 20, SPF 30, like that, okay. Sun protection factor, SPF stands for sun protection factors. Now all these fairness creams and sunscreens, they consist of nanoparticles. They consist of nanoparticles of ZNO. ZNO means zinc oxide. Okay, so these are the nanoparticles or the quantum dots of ZNO. They are mixed in the fairness cream. And what is the speciality of such a type of nanoparticles or the quantum dots? The speciality of this zinc oxide nanoparticle is that its band gap is very, very huge. Means whenever you fabricate zinc oxide into the nano form, its band gap will be very, very much higher. Okay, its band gap is of the order of something 3.3 electron volts or 3.5 electron volts. Now whenever you get very huge band gap, the duty of this ZNO in the fairness cream is that they absorb UV radiation from the sunlight. They absorb UV radiations from the sunlight and they emit the visible light. So one thing is that these fairness creams are doing, they are protecting you from the UV radiations. They are not directly interacted with your skin, they are interacting with your fairness cream, right? So they absorb the UV radiations from the sunlight, which is very, very harmful, and they convert those UV radiations into the visible radiations. Therefore, since they are emitting visible radiations by absorbing UV radiations, your face is looking glowing. Okay, your face looks glowing, right? So this is the application of the fairness cream. Basically, whenever you apply the fairness cream, your face looks something brighter, glower. So why it is glowing? It is glowing because of the nanoparticles of the ZNO. Okay, so this is another application of nanotechnology, we can say. We can use nanotechnology in our kitchen also. We have been using it in our kitchen also. You might have heard about non-stick tawa. Non-stick tawa. Now non-stick tawa are of two types. One is of anodized. One is the anodized tawa and another is the tawa made with the help of coating of nanofilm. Coating of nanofilm. So you might have seen that black colored tawas. Okay, in the black colored tawas you are having some black colored coating on that particular tawa. So even if you pour some oil, that oil is not sticking to the tawa. Okay, and even if you cook your chapatis and all that, chapatis are not getting burned on that particular tawa. They are not sticking to the tawa, right? So that particular tawas are made with the help of nano film. Okay, some material that the coating of that particular nano material is on that particular surface, and because of that, and that particular surface means that particular nano film is having a property of to produce phobia to the oil. Means oil is not getting to oil is not sticking on the surface of the tawas and all that. So that particular property is arising only because of the nanoparticle. Okay, normal material will not do that. Okay, you have the fans. Nowadays you can see the advertisement. You have the fans which is called as non-dust fans. Okay, in the non-dust fans also you have the coating on the surface of the fan so that no dust particle can stick on that particular surface, because the material which we are applying on that particular fans, the coating of on that particular fan, that material is made with the help of nanomaterial, and that nanomaterial is having a property to offer no force of attraction to the dust particle. Dust particle will not stick onto that particular surface. Okay, so that brilliant property is achieved only because of the nanoparticles. Okay, so nanoparticles are having such a properties. You can have the paint which offers a non means you can have the paints which offers a separate glow on the surface of that particular wall, okay, and no dust particle can stick onto that particular paint also. So you can build up, you can manufacture paints out of these nanoparticles, okay. So nanoparticles are having so much of applications in our day-to-day life, okay. There is a nanomedicine also, which is called as a targeted drug delivery mechanism, okay. So you can have the application of nanomaterials everywhere. So this proves that nanoparticle or nanotechnology is not an imaginary technique. It is not an imaginary technology, or it is not only for the discussion. It is a realistic technology. It is being used by many scientists and many technologies, okay. So these are various applications of the nanomaterials or nanotechnology. Now, from where this nanotechnology has started, actually who has invented the nanotechnology? So no single person has invented the nanotechnology actually, right? But Sir Richard Feynman, okay, he was giving a legendary lecture. He was giving a legendary lecture on the annual general meeting of APS, American Physical Society. He was giving a lecture at annual general meeting of APS, American Physical Society at Caltech, California Institute of Technology, that is called as a that is abbreviated as a Caltech in USA, okay. So he has given that particular legendary talk, okay, and the date on which he has given the talk is 29th December 1959. In that legendary talk, he used a phrase that there is a plenty of room. There is plenty of room at bottom. There is plenty of room at the bottom, okay. So the meaning of this particular phrase was that he was asking scientists to work on top down approach, okay. He was asking the scientists to work on the top down approach. He was asking the scientists to miniaturize the things at the atomic levels. He was asking the scientists to miniaturize the things at the atomic levels. He was asking the scientists to develop the devices on the atomic levels. But this particular talk at that particular date was too speculative. Scientists were thinking that no, this is very too speculative, we cannot realize it now. But after 20 years from lot of the works, okay, scientists has realized that okay, this particular phrase can be realized, okay. They have made the devices at the atomic scale, and such a devices are called as a nano devices, okay. Now if you find the literal meaning of this nano material or nanotechnology, then it is the technology or it is the material which has a dimension of, it is a material or it is a devices which has a dimension of 10⁻⁹ meters, okay. If any dimension of any kind of material particle is of the order of 10⁻⁹ meter, then that particular material, that particular particle is called as a nanoparticle. If you see the Greek meaning of nanoparticle or Greek word for nanoparticle, then the Greek word for nanoparticle is dwarf. It is a Latin word. And the meaning of this dwarf is smallness. The meaning of this dwarf is smallness, okay. But in scientific community, the meaning of the nano means one nano, or just simply nano means 1 billionth. Nano means 1 billionth, okay. 1 billionth of what? 1 billionth of a meter. So 1 nanometer equals to 10⁹ meters, or 1 billionth of a meter. It is 1 billionth of a meter. Now this comparison will not be working here, but if you want to just compare what is meant by 1 nanometer, so if you see our hair, okay, and if you see the diameter of that particular hair, then the diameter of the hair, diameter of a normal human hair is of the order of some 50,000 nanometers, is of the order of some 50,000 nanometer. So you can imagine that what is meant by nanometer. Okay, now you can see various other prefixes, because since we are working on the nanoscale now here on, okay, we should know what are the other ranges of working particularly. So you know that 10 raised to minus 18, 10 raised to minus 18 is called as atto, atto. Okay, then there is 10 raised to minus 15, means 1 attometer means what? 10 raised to minus 18 meters. 10 raised to minus 15 means what? It is called as femto. It is called as femto. Then there is 10 raised to minus 12. 10 raised to minus 12 means what? It is called as pico. Then there is 10 raised to minus 9. It is called as nano. Then there is 10 raised to minus 6. It is called as micro. Then there is 10 raised to minus 3. It is called as milli. It is called as milli. Then there is 10 raised to minus 2. It is called as ten raised to minus 2. It is called as deci. It is called as deci. Sorry. 10 raised to minus 2. It is called as centimeters. Okay. Then 10 raised to minus 1. It is called as deci. Okay. Then 10 raised to 1 plus 1. Now these are the minus prefixes. Okay. Now we come to the plus 1 prefixes, plus prefixes. 10 raised to 1 means what? It is called as deca. Deca, the spelling, sorry, D-E-K-A, deca. Then 10 raised to 2, 10 raised to 3, it is called as kilo. Then 10 raised to 6, it is called as mega. 10 raised to 9, it is called as giga. 10 raised to 12, it is called as tera. Gigabytes, terabytes, these words you might be hearing. Okay. 10 raised to 15, 10 raised to 15 peta, it is called as peta. And 10 raised to 18, it is called as exa. 10 raised to 18, it is called as a exa. So from 10 raised to minus 18 to 10 raised to plus 18, these are the various ranges which we can work on. Okay, and 10 raised to minus 18 is called as a atto, 10 raised to plus 18 is called as a exa. And here our nanotechnology stands here. Our nanotechnology stands here. Okay, 10 raised to minus 9 is nothing but 1 nano. 1 nanometers means what? 10 raised to minus 9 meters. Okay, and you know that if you see the hydrogen atom, the diameter of the hydrogen atom is, suppose, yes, the diameter of the hydrogen atom is 1 angstrom. Okay, 1 angstrom means what? 10 raised to minus 10 meters. So if you arrange 10 hydrogen atoms, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if you arrange 10 hydrogen atoms on a line, then you will get the length of 1 nanometer. So this length will be 1 nanometer. Okay, so if you arrange 10 hydrogen atoms in a line, then you will get the length of 1 nanometer. Okay, so how in general we can define nanotechnology? So it is the technology based on the devices which are having a dimensions of nanometers. Okay, and whatever advances that are being investigated in this particular field, that particular field is called as a nanotechnology, or the technology which deals with the nanomaterials. Such a technology is called as a nanotechnology. And what is meant by nanomaterials? The materials which are having a dimensions of 10 raised to power minus 9 meters. Okay, now 10 raised to power 9 minus 9 meters means what? Whether it is 1 nanometer, it is 2 nanometer, or it is 100 nanometers, or it is 200 nanometers. Okay, so which materials are to be called as a nanomaterials? So actually all these materials can be called as a nanomaterials. There is no strict definition that materials within these particular dimensions or materials within this particular length only should be called as a nanomaterials. Okay, depending on the engineering practices, we can categorize different materials, or we can change our definition of the nanomaterials. Sometimes from engineering point of view or from the synthesis point of view, we can say that the materials whose width or materials whose dimensions ranges from 1 nanometer to 100 nanometers, such a materials will be called as a nanomaterials. Such a materials will be called as a nanomaterials. But nevertheless, sometimes if we synthesize the particle which is having a dimension of suppose 200 nanometer, so in some circumstances that particular material can also be called as a nanomaterial. Okay, now this particular technology, that is nanotechnology, has completely changed the nature of the mankind. Okay, it has been proven itself that it is a giant leap for the mankind, for the development of the mankind. You see that when the Neil Armstrong, okay, when he first stepped onto the surface of the moon, he said the word that a small step of a man but a big leap for the mankind. So this particular technology, actually the nanotechnology, has proved that it is really a big leap for the mankind, but with a step which is very of small size, of the size of the order of some nanometers, not with the size of the human man or the feet of the human man. Okay, it is this particular giant leap was taken with the help of small step of some nanometer. Okay, so this is the brief introduction of the nanotechnology.